This is The Download from Sounds Profitable, your daily source for the essential news of the business of podcasting, brought to you by Spreaker from iHeart. I'm Gavin Gaddis. Here's what you need to know for Thursday, September 26th. First up, the Persuadables, podcasting's next 20 million consumers. This piece from Tom Webster shows people who do not listen to podcasts are not a monolithic group. According to the podcast landscape, 26% of Americans 18 plus have never consumed a podcast, which is down 2% year over year from the podcast landscape 2023. When asked why they haven't consumed a podcast, the top reasons include my existing options give me what I need, from 34% of respondents, 27% prefer video over listening, 22% don't understand the benefits of podcasts. 30% of those who don't listen to podcasts, which represents 20 million US citizens, are open to the premise and have holes in their media diet that podcasting would fit into nicely. The decline of X and commercial radio content may have created a gap in daily lives that short-form video content does not fill. Podcasting would benefit from discussing our ability to become a companion that enriches passive media consumption time. Next up, Spotify debuts Synced Feeds. The new Synced Feeds feature launches today, and it tweaks the gated podcast experience on Spotify. With Synced Feeds, podcast episodes from both paid and free feeds of the same show will merge into one show page, hiding duplicate episodes and giving creators customization options for how episodes appear to Spotify users. Not premium audience members of podcasts that have open access API content, such as stuff on Patreon, Supercast, or Supporting Cast, will see the normal free feed episodes as well as locked paid content. According to Pod News, Spotify says nearly half of Spotify podcasters using Patreon have enabled the Spotify open access integration, and those creators who did that report 15% of listeners who click through to their Patreon convert to paid membership. And finally, fintech face-off. PayPal, Klarna, and Chime tap A-list celebs to win over shoppers and boost brand buzz. Big finance tech brands like PayPal, Klarna, and Chime have spent the last few months increasing brand awareness efforts, partnering with high-profile celebrities and launching big campaigns to stand out in a crowded marketplace. PayPal, hot on the heels of a visual rebrand, is running its biggest U.S. ad campaign ever with comedian Will Ferrell. Buy now, pay later platform Klarna has signed Shaquille O'Neal to promote their cash back feature. Chime is going the influencer route with streamer Kai Cenat and VFX TikTok star Zach King. We humbly suggest podcasting's superpower of connecting with audiences who tend to support brands that support their favorite content creators would be a good fit for fintech brands trying to stand out from the crowd. As for the rest of the news, Tom Webster guests on today's Social Media Examiner episode, Podcasting: How to Create a Better Show. Spotify for Podcasters shares tips for tracking conversion metrics using new tools in the dashboard. Russell Howard's Wonderbox podcast has signed with Adalicious, the first Avalon podcast to do so. Elias Frankel has announced the launch of Single Source Media, a new podcast and YouTube-focused advertising agency, and Variety covers a live production of Giggly Squad performed for UCLA students last weekend. Be sure to check out the links to every article mentioned right in your podcast listening app or at soundsprofitable.com, where you can also subscribe to the newsletter version. The Download is written and produced by Newton Shuttlecotti, myself, Brian Barletta, and Tom Webster. This episode is hosted on Spreaker. For Sounds Profitable, I'm Gavin Gaddis. Download us again tomorrow.